for with this is my tape chalk. So I'll start off with cutting out. So I'll be starting with cutting out the back piece first. Alright. So now I'm going to place my tape the full length of my top. Okay. So I'm working with a full length of 20 inches. Or let me 20 inches. 21 inches. I'll be adding extra 2 inches for my seam allowance, making it 23 inches. You can decide where you want yours to stop. Okay, so this is my 23 inches. Then the next thing is the shoulder line. So this is my start point. Now this is going to be an off shoulder wrap top. So I'm going to come down from my shoulder line by 4 inches. So I'm going to mark my 4 inches. This is my 4 inches. Okay. This is my 4 inches. Then this is my chest line. This is my chest line. So this is where my new start point will be. Now the shoulder I'm working with is 15 inches. 15 divided by 2 will be giving me 7.5 inches. So I'll be removing 2 inches from that 7.5, and I'll be having 5 inches. I'll mark my 5 inches here. Remember, remove 2 inches from your shoulder. So I have 5. Then my chest line, I'll insert my bust measurements. My bust measurements, I have 34, which is 8.5. I add extra 2 inches seam allowance. You can decide to add 1. You can decide to add 1.5. So now I'm going to draw my armhole. So this is my armhole measurement. Then my waist measurement is 28, which is 7 inches. Then I'll be adding extra 2 inches for seam allowance here. Alright, then I'll connect it to my chest line. Then the next thing I'll do is to cut it out. So now what I did was to place, I folded my fabric again for the front piece. Now I placed the back at the center. Now from here to here is my waist measurements, what I have. Like my waist measurements is 7 inches. I added extra 2 inches to it, so I still added the extra 2 inches, making it 9 inches. All right, so I have 9 inches here. So I placed my back at the center, leaving this 9 inches spacing. So what next do I do? This is my chest line, right? I'm going to come down to my chest line by 0.25 inches or half an inch, depending on how well you want it to be exposed, because this is an option. I'm coming down by just 0.25. You can decide to come up by more, you can decide to come up by 5 inches. It totally depends on you, how you want it to be. All right, how you want the pointing of the wrap to be. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to connect these 3 points together. So I'm coming up by 4 inches here instead of 3 inches. Okay, I marked 3 inches earlier, so I decided to use 4 inches. Then I'm going to connect all of them together, coming down to my 0.25, then to my curve here. This is what I'll have. Then I'll cut it out. So I've cut it out this way. I also cut it out the other parts of it. So I'll be using this piece of fabrics, this particular one, for the sleeve. All right, so you can decide to make it in any type of sleeve you want to make, but mine, I'll be putting an elastic to it. likely to be a little smaller, but I think I like it that way. So I'm just going to slit it, then make a casing on top at the edges, the bottom and the up, and pass my elastic thread in it. So this is me cutting it out first. So I'm cutting this one, I'm using it for the belt. This is for my belt. So now what we're going to do is the sewing part. For this sleeve now, I'm going to make a casing here, fold it in. So I'll pass an elastic on it. Same with the bottom part of it. Then this is my front, the front of my top. What do I do now? I'm going to fold this in to close up these rough edges. Alright. Then fold the bottom. The same thing I'm going to do to the back. That's what I'm going to do. Fold it. And also fold the upper part here. So I've hemmed or fold the rough edges. This is the front, this is what it looks like. The same thing I did for the back piece. I've hemmed it, the down here and the upper part of it here. Alright, so I'll keep this aside. Then the sleeve, this is it. What I did was just to make a casing at the bottom here. So I'm going to be passing an elastic in here, an elastic here. So the two sides, I made a casing for it. So now what next should we do? We'll be cutting an elastic. This is the elastic I'm working with, 1/2 inch elastic band. So I'm going to measure 7 inches. I'm working with 7 inches elastic band. So there's 7. I'll be cutting it into 4 places. Then I'll pass it through the casing I made. Now I'm done attaching the elastic to my sleeve. Alright. Next thing is to attach it to the main body. So I'll start off with the back first. So this is my back piece. So I'm going to place it like this and attach it to the sleeve. Alright, and I'm also going to do the same thing for the other sleeve and the front. So I'm done attaching the sleeves. Alright, the next thing to do now is to shape our dress. So I'm going to shape it, run a stitch on it, then we'll talk about the belt. So the next thing we are going to be working on is the belts. We are done with the bodies. Alright, so now I'm going to run a stitch on it and close it. So this is the belt. I'm done with the belt. Now is to attach it to our dress. So this is the dress now. This is, remember where the wrap is. So I'm going to pick up one of the belts, place it this way, and stitch on it. Alright, so I'm going to place it this way, run a stitch on it, close it up, then pull it up. Alright, so this I'm doing here, I also do it to the other part of the wrap.